I'm here in San Francisco, and in this masterclass, we're going to explore a topic that has been fascinating me for the last couple of years. And this is the bioenergy of the human body, the energetic field that permeates our entire body and helps us function in the world. Over the last couple of years, I've been working with many healers of the bioenergy field because what I found is that when I was getting certain treatments, right, there would be shifts in my physical world. One healer whom I worked with explained it this way. He brought in ideas from ancient China, from ancient India, into working with the bioenergy field. And he says that most people, as they start working with this field, experience these three things. The first is a rise in vitality. Vitality means you feel younger, you feel more energy, your body seems to heal better. Illnesses no longer plague you as much. The second is an increase in rate of synchronicity. What this means is that the time difference between a thought in your head and you seeing that thought in reality starts shrinking. After one particular healing I had, I was trying to hit a particular business goal for many years. After that healing, that goal came to me in 4 weeks. It was a massive synchronicity, and this is the second thing that people often report. Now, the third is really fascinating. It is almost as if someone goes to you and turns up the dial on your charisma. You actually become more attractive to other people, and you find yourself more attracted to other people. Now, what I mean by that is not that you're falling in love blindly with everyone around you, but you're more compassionate, you're more friendly, you're more kind-hearted towards people around you. It's as if these barriers between human beings dissolve. And so these three changes, I notice every time I get a bioenergy tune-up. But many of these healers I work with, it requires great travel, it is expensive, sometimes $3,000 for a healing session. And so as I wanted to bring these ideas to Mind Valley, I wanted to find one teacher who has put this into a framework that you can learn from home that we could bring onto our Quest platform. And that teacher is Anodea Judith. And in a moment, you're going to learn why she's so darn remarkable as a teacher. So let's head on up and meet her. Hi everyone, and welcome to this Mind Valley Masterclass. As you guys know, I am fascinated by all dimensions of personal growth, and I frequently turn myself into a guinea pig to study different modalities from cultures and practices all around the world in the quest to be better at being human. And one of the things that I'm most fascinated by right now is the idea of the bioenergetic field, the energy field that surrounds our body. This is the essence of so many methodologies, from Qigong to Reiki to Eastern philosophies on chakras and energy healing. And the more I work with healers and I work with people who are playing with this field, the more I see remarkable things happen in my life. You see, we're born with a more whole bioenergetic field. But as we go through life, certain disruptions happen in this field. Anodea tells a beautiful story about a man she knows who had this weird fear of open fields. You know those beautiful open fields like the wallpaper you see on a Windows machine, the green rolling hills, the blue clouds? Well, this guy was freaked out by images like that. The question was why? And one day he realized, as he was talking to his mom, that when he was a baby, his mom had taken him on a picnic to such a field, laid him down in the grass, and a cow came up to him and licked him on the face as a baby. So you can imagine, as a baby, being there on that grass and seeing a cow with its gigantic cow tongue coming towards you. That would probably freak you out. Now, he never remembered that moment, but somehow the memory of that, the fear, was imprinted on him. And he had a fear of large open fields. It sounds ridiculous, but this is how we sometimes take on these limitations in our being. It leaves an imprint on our energetic field. Chakra healing is a way to clear this up so our energy flows beautifully without any obstructions. True chakra healing, you learn to take your well-being in your own hands and to fix and repair and enhance and rebalance all aspects of your mind, your body, and your spirit. Why Anodea? Get this, she has sold over 1 million books in 25 languages on the topic of chakra and energy healing. And she's published more books on chakra healing than anyone else out there. Anodea was the founder and director of Sacred Centers, a teaching organization focusing on the integration of personal and collective transformation. She holds a master's degree in clinical psychology and a doctorate in health and human services, which requires 500 hours of registered advanced yoga teacher training. I knew I had to work with Anodea when I first met her for coffee about a year ago. So we were in Sausalito, California. We met up in a little cafe. And when I sat with Anodea in that cafe in Sausalito, I told her about my activism stance. And that's when she handed me her business card. She flicked it across the table. And what that card said impressed me. It said, Evolutionary Activist. And I showed her my title, CEO Activist. And it was that word, activist, that instantly made us connect. We then got into a long conversation about how we can help heal the planet. And I knew she was someone I needed to bring to you because she stands for something higher than just the aspect of personal growth that says, make me the best I can. She wants to make us all think beyond just ourselves into the collective healing of our world. That is the kind of teacher I think our audience deserves. Now, I've been very impressed with Anodea, but let's see, what are other world-class teachers and healers saying about her work? So let's start with this person who many in our Mind Valley community will recognize, the one and only Donna Eden of energy medicine. She says it is a beautiful blend of the practice of yoga with the profound wisdom held in your chakras. Marsha Wieder, who is an incredible author, said Anodea's work helps us reimagine the big dream for ourselves and the world. Stephen Dinan, CEO of the Shift Network, says she's a gem. Sean Kahn, founder of Off the Mat, the famous yogi, said, her understanding and interpretation of the chakra system blew my mind and heart wide open and deeply influenced my personal yoga practice as well as my teachings. Margot Anand, the founder of Skydancing Tantra, said, Anodea's work is perfect for those who are looking for the best information about chakras and any person who wishes to heal their body and improve their meditation skills. So with that, let me introduce you to Anodea Judith. Anodea, welcome to Mind Valley.
Thank you, Vishen. I'm so delighted to be here.
Before we begin, you've got an amazing story of how you stumbled upon this whole field of bioenergy. I'd love for you to share that with the audience.
Well, I remember back to 1975, and I made a lot of changes in my diet and things I was doing. I was meditating and doing yoga and reading everything on metaphysics that I could. And I came across a book by Ram Dass in which he mentioned the word chakra. And as soon as I saw the word, I didn't even know what it meant. A shot of energy went through my body. And I remember that night I had a dream. I was walking on a path, and I bent over and I picked up a beautiful jewel and held it. And the earth shook in the dream. And so I knew I had found a jewel. But I was doing my life, I was making my living as an artist.
How old were you at this time?
I was 22. And, just fresh into what am I going to do with my life? I was painting murals and selling paintings for a living. I was all set to go to New York City and go back to art school. And then in my meditation one day, I had another experience. The only time this has happened in my whole life. I had an out-of-body experience where I floated above my body. I looked down, there I was sitting cross-legged in meditation, and there was a book on my lap called The Chakras System, and it was written by me.
You saw the title of the book.
I saw the title of the book.
Now at this point, you obviously knew what chakras were.
I knew what they were, I had read about them.
Did you think you'd be writing a book on them?
And I didn't know I was going to be writing a book. I thought I was going to go off to art school. And I made an abrupt change in my life. But I still had many learnings to go through. So I left and moved to the country. I lived off the grid. I wanted to experience Earth, which is the first chakra. I lived with very little money. And it was up there that I also had a child and then later separated from my husband and was a single mother. And I was sick at the time. I'd had Lyme disease, and I didn't know it. It was actually went 5 years before it was diagnosed. So every day, every month, I was getting worse and worse. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I had aches and
just
pains.
For the people who understand, what was Lyme? What were you experiencing through Lyme disease? For those who might not be.
Well, Lyme is a very serious disease that you get from a tick bite. And I was living out in the woods, so
right.
Obviously I got bites all the time, didn't pay any attention, never heard of Lyme disease. And it goes slowly through the body and can attack any part of the body. So it was in my joints with pain, I was having fevers and chills, I was tired. I didn't know what was wrong with me. And here I am, a single mother, and I'm living on the land, and on very little money. And one day I remember so clearly, I was there with my son, he was 3 years old at the time. I'd just gone to town and bought groceries, and a quart of milk was sitting on the table, and he did some wild movement, and he knocked the quart of milk over, it spilled all over everything, and I realized that was some of my last money I spent on that quart of milk. And at that point, it was one of those stark moments where I got to make a change. And so I came down off the mountain back to civilization. I underwent many aspects of my healing. I went back to graduate school. I got my master's and my PhD, and I interfaced with the world and, was making a living, and everything has changed since then. So that was part of my underworld journey.
Wow. So you were a single mom, broke, going through Lyme disease, and that was really the fire that led you to go deep into the study of energies and chakras.
And healing.
But it also seems that there was a calling, that you were having these metaphysical experiences, from that shiver down your spine when you first saw the word chakra to the vision for your book. Did you know that this was the path you were going to emerge into?
On some level I knew, and on another level I really didn't know where it would go in the long run. But I know when I was writing my first book, Wheels of Life, wild horses couldn't drag me away from my computer.
Wow. It's so funny, because in your story there, I see intuitive impulse, right? Like almost as if your soul is telling you to do something. But I also see suffering that led you to wake up from your reality and take some bold action in the world. The Rumi said, suffering is the wound through which the light enters. It's right. Often through our suffering that we discover our light. And, that seems so true for you. But what happened with the Lyme disease as you started this healing? Because I know Lyme can be devastating. I have a friend who had Lyme disease, and he was on the sofa, unable to move for years.
Well, I wasn't that bad, but with the aches and pains, I was on my way to a wheelchair if I didn't, find out. Finally, it was diagnosed, and I went into treatment. But the treatment alone, the medical treatment, wasn't what did it. Healing is a path of self-discovery. We don't heal overnight. We do this and we do that, and each thing is an unfolding and a development of the soul. Healing, when you have something to heal from, it's actually a gift. And that gift will take you many places in your path, and that's how I learned what I learned.
It's beautiful that you said that. I love the concept of the gift. So Anodea, you mentioned, as we were talking earlier, that in today's world, people are increasingly divorced from themselves. Please explain.
Well, we have a paradigm in which mind is separated from body, spirit from matter, heaven from earth, inside from outside, male and female. We have a paradigm of separation. And so people are divided within themselves. They are living in their heads, and they're trying to have mental concepts to fix that, but the body is ailing. They're going to doctors to fix the body, but they don't look at the spirit and what's going on. So we need a system that integrates mind and body in one holistic paradigm. And not just mind and body, but mind and body and energy, because energy is the connection between the mind and body. So look at it this way, Vishen. Your body is your hardware. You've got that all your life. We have male hardware, female, we're tall or we're short. Everything you've learned, everything you believe, the language you speak, the things you say, that's all part of your software. That's in your mind. But if you take your computer, and you don't have any electricity running through the system, it doesn't matter if you have the best computer, the latest software, it's good for nothing without a charge going through the system.
I love that analogy. So what you're saying is that the body is like this iPad.
Yes.
It's the hardware of this iPad. The mind are the apps that I download on the
That's
iPad.
Right.
But when you talk about this bioenergy, that's the power cord
That's
that
right.
fills it with power in the first place so it can function.
And that energy allows mind and body to connect. It's the interface between mind and body.
So how powerful is that energy?
It is so powerful. So let me give you an example. In Kirlian photography, they're able to take pictures of living things and see the biofield around them. And so we've probably all seen this picture of the leaf, and then you tear off a piece of the leaf, you take a picture, and the energy field still shows the whole leaf as if it was still there. In the same way that amputees can often feel parts of their leg that are cut off.
Right.
So that's pretty powerful. You can lose the physical and the energy is still there. But get this, our thoughts are even more powerful to influence the energy. They did pictures of two people putting their fingers on a plate and watching what happens with the energy. And they said, so think negative thoughts about each other. Think, I hate you, I can't stand you. And as they did, the fields radically diverged. Those two fields of the two fingers wanted to separate. And they said, okay, now think loving thoughts. I love you, I want to be with you, you're the best thing. Ah. And as they thought those thoughts, the fields overlapped on the fingers and made one field.
So Kirlian photography allows us to photograph the aura, photograph these energy fields. And what you're saying is these energy fields are so in tune with our thoughts that the concept of love or hate can directly influence the fields and how they interact with other biological creatures.
That's right. And not only is that powerful, it's more powerful than losing a physical part of the organism. Why do you say that? Because when you tear off the part of the leaf, it's still there. It doesn't change.
Still there. Wow.
So it's more subject to your thoughts than even what you do with the physical body.
And it's why amputees can feel phantom leg syndrome.
Right.
So if you're an amputee and you lose a limb, what happens is you often feel that limb. That's really powerful. So let's talk about the first big idea here, and that is escapist spirituality, or what you call the spiritual bypass.
Well, I think a lot of people and I've traveled the spiritual smorgasbord, I've been teaching at, spiritual workshops and retreat centers and things, and I've seen it across the board. A lot of people are trying to get up and out, away from their life, away from their body, detached into some, pure, pristine state, which they can never quite achieve. And they're leaving the body. But we need an integrated model that brings that spirituality into the body. We can't get away from the body. And even psychologists call this a spiritual bypass. They want to go up here, but they haven't cleaned out the basement. They haven't worked on their wounds. They haven't healed their issues. They're just meditating. And I've been a meditator for 45 years, so I'm not knocking meditation. It's my mainstay. But if it's just an escapism, then that's not a spirituality that brings wholeness. It brings separation.
No, you're absolutely right. I got a question recently on Mind Valley's Instagram that said, why are you guys teaching so much about nutrition and fitness? Isn't the world just subjective reality? And I explained to that person, well, actually, no. Even if you look at the great spiritual traditions of the East, whether it's from China or India, notice how the body was also integrated, whether it was through Ayurveda or it was through yoga or it was the Shaolin monks. The great spiritual teachers of the world never separated mind and body. In fact, mastery of the body was essential to greater spirituality.
And the chakra system comes from the tantric period of yoga, and tantra means weaving. So it was a weaving of polarities, masculine, feminine, heaven and earth, mind and body. It was an integrative model that put it all on a continuum. And the chakra system is the map for that integration.
So before we get to that chakra quiz that you're going to guide us through, let's first understand what is a chakra and what do these 7 chakras do for us.
So a chakra is an energy center. It's like an organ in the energetic body. Just like we have a heart that's an organ in the physical body, we have these organs in the energetic body. And they organize energy, they organize the life force through 4 functions. Through the receiving, because we have to receive, we receive love, we receive information. Through the assimilation of that, can we absorb that? Can we store it? Can we remember it? And can we express it? So we take in, we assimilate, we store, and we express. And each chakra needs to be able to do all 4 of those functions on each and every level.
That's a very interesting way. I've never heard it explained that way before. And there are 7 chakras. How are these laid out, and what do these chakras do?
Well, the 7 chakras are laid out in a vertical manner through the core of the body. Some people say they're in the spine. I don't think they're in the actual spine, but they're the nerve ganglia that branch out from the spinal column, and they're like little fibers. So the 7 chakras, to me, describe the architecture of the soul. And just like a body worker or a yoga teacher might study the physiology, well, as a psychologist, I've studied the soul. And I found that it has this architecture that is basically the same for everyone, just like we all have 2 eyes that are above our nose, above our mouth, and yet has an individual expression for each person. And so as we study this architecture of the soul, we realize it is a connection between heaven and earth that goes through the center of each and every one of us. The most direct line to higher consciousness from within the body. When we are centered and aligned and awake and can run energy through here, we're living in our charge. We're in the center of our charge. We're in charge. We're in charge of our life. So the 7 chakras span from earth to heaven. So the first chakra, base of the spine, is connected with the element earth. And so that's our grounding, our connection with the physical world, with eating and food and keeping the body alive and healthy and making a living and paying your bills and keeping your car running, all those things having to do with the mundane world. That's your foundation. Its name means foundation support or root support.
I see.
Then we go to the second chakra. If first chakra is our container, second chakra is the water in that container. It's our emotions, our sensations, our sexuality. It's the way water moves through the body. Are we stuck or are we fluid? Are we open in our emotions to feel? Or do we get carried away by our emotions? Then the third chakra, solar plexus, goes up into the fire. That's our get up and go, our vitality, our I can get this done. I can be effective. I have a sense of power in my life. Then from there we soften. We go to the heart. That's the element air. Think of air. It has no boundaries, no edges. It's invisible, but we're surrounded by it. That's love. Then we go into the fifth chakra, communication. How do we express what's inside to another human being so that we share consciousness? And up into the sixth chakra, that's light. It's imagination, it's intuition, it's being able to see, to dream, to remember. And finally, what's operating all of this? Consciousness. Consciousness is what sees, what hears, what loves, what feels. But up here, we look at consciousness itself as this amazing, miraculous essence that each one of us possess. And that when we expand that consciousness, so much more is possible for us.
So it seems that each chakra corresponds to one vital part of being human.
That's right.
And from what I understand, when we in school learn biology, we understand the function of our lungs, of our heart. And so, let's say one has difficulty breathing. We know it's our throat and our lungs that might be affected. Likewise, when we understand the chakras, correct me if I'm wrong, but if we find that, say, we're going through a particular challenge in life, maybe it's love or maybe it's self-expression, we can pinpoint that part of our energy body that might need healing.
Exactly.
So the chakras are sort of like an energetic map of where we can focus our spiritual attention to do better in life.
So map is exactly right. There are so many spiritual paths. So many of us have been around the spiritual marketplace,
right.
Trying this path and that path. And sometimes I say it becomes pathological. But as we do that, we bump into walls and we turn. It takes a long time. With a map, you know where you're going. Now, a map doesn't tell you where you have to go. It tells you where you can go. That if you want to get to San Francisco, this is the road you take. So if I want to get to higher consciousness, this is the road I take. If I want to get to love, this is the road that I take. It's a map that describes the full spectrum of human experience.
And by working on our chakras through, say, the chakra quest that we've developed with you, one is then able to work with these energies to liberate and put in balance all of these different 7 aspects of being human.
Yes, look at it as a formula for wholeness, a recipe,
Right.
if you will, that if you address your life on each one of these levels of the chakras, you have a formula for becoming whole.
So now let's go into this assessment that we've put together with Anodea that will help you understand where you might fall in terms of your 7 chakras. So we're going to start by describing what it means to be balanced in each of these 7 chakras. Then we're going to show what it means to have deficient energy in each chakra versus excessive energy. And we're going to ask you to give yourself a score from -5 to 5. 0 is where you want to be. 0 would be in the middle, right? So if you feel that deficient describes you, you're going all the way to -5. If you feel that you're highly excessive in this energy, you're going all the way to +5. So at the end of this simple self-assessment, you're going to get a score, and we'll tell you what that score means. Shall we begin?
Yeah, and I would just say that deficient is an avoidance strategy in life where you shut down. Excessive is a compensating strategy where you do too much of something. And some people will experience some excessive and some deficient characteristics even in the same chakra. And it's just the way they avoid or compensate as they try to come into balance.
Thank you. So it's a simplified assessment, but it'll still give you an idea of maybe what chakras you might want to focus on. Are we ready to get started?
We are. So we start with the root chakra. And the balanced state is that you're grounded, you're stable, you're healthy, you're able to manifest abundance in your life, to pay for what you need. It comes to you, you handle the physical plane easily and well. If you're deficient, you pull away from the earth. You live in your head, always in your thoughts. You might be fearful, not feeling safe in the world. And often people have financial struggles because they're not really grounded with both feet on the earth. If you're excessive, then you're compensating. You might make too heavy a body, too much earth. You're attached to security. You're sluggish, you're dense. It's hard to get your energy going. It's like a heavy ball, too much earth energy. And we want to be in the middle.
Got it. So I'm giving myself a 1 for that.
Okay.
I'm not perfectly in the middle.
You're on the excessive side a little bit?
Slightly on the excessive
All right.
side, but let's not talk about that.
All right, so then we go to the sacral chakra, element water. So a healthy sacral chakra is able to feel emotions deeply, but not get carried away by them. Has a great capacity for pleasure and joy in life, and they feel good in their body. Well, if it's deficient, then you might be very unemotional. We don't feel that. You might be very self-denying, you know, that you can't indulge in pleasure at any time. And that can be very masochistic. And you can be inflexible and rigid. Water wants to flow. So if there's not enough water, life is dry and boring. If it's excessive, then we're overly emotional. We're always here or there, fluctuating. We have a poor sense of boundaries. Our water is flowing all over. We don't have a good container, and we can be overly indulgent in food or drugs or whatever. And then we don't get up to the third chakra. The third chakra in the solar plexus is the fire element. And this is associated with our personal power. So someone who has a strong third chakra is confident, they're effective in their life, they feel connected with their will, they have an intention and their will follows through and pulls that intention into being. And if they're deficient, too little fire. They're passive, oh, whatever you want, it's okay. They have low self-esteem because they don't follow through. Maybe a weak will, they can't stick to a diet or get something done, just too little fire. But on the excessive side is somebody that's dominating and controlling, constantly active, maybe driving ambition, and they can burn out their third chakra that way.
So to the best of your ability, give yourself a score on that third chakra from -5 to 5.
Well, I used to be probably -5 in this one. It was my toughest chakra that I really had to develop a will and strength. And people who know me now can't believe it when I say that. So now I would say I'm pretty constantly active. I hope I'm not dominating. I have had driving ambition, but I've achieved a lot of that, and that's softened as I get into my older years. So I've made some progress.
That's fantastic.
So
now, is that normal though? Do people get more balanced as they age in terms of these chakras?
I think they do if they work on themselves.
Okay.
They either get more balanced or more disconnected because they haven't done their work.
Right.
I mean, that work is there to do. You can wait, you can put it off, but it's there to do for all of us. So now we come to the heart. And of course, the heart is the center of the whole system. So it's the great integrator. So if we have an open heart and we're balanced, we're self-loving. We're good to ourselves, but we're also good to others. We're kind, we're compassionate, we care. And because it's the center of balance, a balanced heart is also peaceful. Nothing is fighting against anything. In fact, its Sanskrit name means sound that is made without any two things striking. Anahata, which sounds like the heartbeat. Anahata, anahata. So if the heart is closed down, we might feel unworthy, withdrawn, lonely, isolated. We don't really know how to connect through the heart. But if it's excessive, and you might say, how can we have too much heart energy? Well, it's not too much love. It's being needy and clingy. I want love all the time. Everybody pay attention to me. Narcissistic, even possessive, right? That is so needing that love. That's excessive. We want to be balanced in the self-loving, kind, and peaceful place. And that's the element air. So now we come to the throat chakra, which is about communication, the element sound. And here it's pretty obvious what would be excessive and deficient. That if you're deficient, you're very quiet and shy, you have trouble getting your words out, you think nobody wants to listen to you, maybe your creativity is blocked. And if you're excessive, well, then you talk all the time. You're a poor listener. You might talk too loud, or sometimes I joke, you write long books and give long workshops. I'm a little excessive in my throat chakra. But if you are balanced, then you have a resonant, full voice. You are in dynamic harmony with the rest of the world. You're in synchrony. And you're a good listener and a good, clear communicator. So now we come into the upper chakras, the more transcendent ones, the third eye or sixth chakra. When it's balanced, we're strongly connected with our intuition. We have clarity about our life and about ourselves. We can see straight. And we have imagination. So many people can't imagine anything in their life being different, but we can imagine things as they could be. We can dream, we can visualize. So when it's closed down and we're deficient, there's a lack of imagination. There can be denial or illusion. There can be poor concentration. We can't focus, And if it's excessive, and I meet people like this all the time at psychic fairs and things, there's so much input they can't sort it out. And, there's input overwhelm, there's delusions, they'll believe anything without testing it in reality. People can become very obsessive and focus on one thing, and that's an excessive sixth chakra, what we look at. And then finally, we go to the crown of it all. The 1,000-petaled lotus that connects to consciousness and to source, if you will. And if we are balanced and open here, we feel spiritually connected to something larger, a greater intelligence that we can even get guidance from. And we are intelligent. We talk so much about consciousness. Let's talk about intelligence. Intelligence is what we need right now. And I actually find as people clear away their blockages, they actually become smarter. They become more able to process more quickly because there's not so much in the way. And open-minded. So a shutdown crown chakra is very cynical, they're uncertain, they have difficulty thinking, they can be confused, they're very attached to things, they think there's a one true right and only way, narrow-minded. And there can be an excess here too, and I see it all the time as I travel, kind of a spiritual addiction. I have to meditate and do all this before I can do anything, and they don't have their lives together. And overthinking everything, over-intellectualizing, trying to figure it all out in your head and not feeling it in the body. Or sometimes we meet someone that's like a know-it-all, you know, and they're not really connecting in their heart, they're just in the information.
Okay, folks, so keep in mind, you're not going to be adding that together or subtracting that. What this does do, however, is it's kind of a self-assessment that lets you understand which of your 7 chakras might need some work. And this work is something that you can do yourself. So if you later decide to enroll in the Chakra Quest with Mind Valley and Anodea Judith, what's going to happen is you're going to get the guidance on how to look at the chakras that you might be unaligned in and basically move them into balance. And even if you are mostly in balance, what happens is you learn to magnify the energy of these chakras. So keep this reading with you. If you've been taking that down on a piece of paper, make sure you mark it well and you hold on to it, because it's going to be a really powerful tool for you later when you enroll in the program. Now, Anodea, I know that was just the beginning. I know it goes a lot deeper. For example, you talk about the 2 chakra energy currents, upward liberation and downward manifesting. Now, I found this part really fascinating. Tell us about it.
Well, most people think of the chakras as this ladder that they climb up to higher consciousness. And that indeed is what it is. That's one of the pathways. We go from fixed earth to water, which is freer, to fire, which, you know, doesn't have an edge, to air that's invisible, to sound that can travel from a distance, to light that you can see from a distant galaxy, to consciousness that is everywhere at once and has no material substance. So we are liberating. We get free of our blocks and our stuck places in the liberating current. But I discovered there is an equally powerful current that comes down through the chakras. It starts in highest consciousness with an idea. And then we visualize that idea. We imagine it. We speak about it. We give it words. We fashion our sound bites. And we find the right relationships. Maybe it's employees or partners that we do to bring that vision into being. We empower ourselves to get done what we have to do. We move things into place, and the thought planes get denser and denser until in first chakra, they manifest on the physical plane. That's the current of manifestation, the densifying, if you will, of thought, step by step in a practical pattern.
That's beautiful. I never thought about it that way.
And right now, I think in the world, we've been on the path to higher consciousness for, you know, the West, maybe 40 years.
Yes.
And people have been meditating, and there's been some changes. But if you look at the world, something more is needed. It hasn't changed the world the way we thought it would. And I think it's time to take that higher consciousness, come back down and do something with it in the world itself and make a change. And we need to be able to bring it down from higher consciousness step by step. It's very practical, and that will take you all the way to the
So
ground.
it's the process for moving upwards and then moving into downward manifesting. Are these similar processes, or these 2 different sets of approaches?
They're very different journeys. When I teach this, I'm mostly removing the blocks and having people get in touch with themselves and their issues, and they get freer and freer and lighter. But it's then what? Then I take them into another workshop where we take the downward current. We start with what is our vision? What do we want to create? What's the guidance? What's our purpose? And working with the visualization of that so that that becomes a target that exists in your mind. You know, what you want to create doesn't exist in reality yet. It only exists right here.
Yeah, I love how you put this together. So it's healing. It's healing.
That's right.
Going this way, and it's sort of like manifesting and creating going this way.
Yeah.
So you mentioned blocks again. And I know that in your work, you talk about how each of the 7 chakras corresponds typically to a block at a particular part of our life. Okay, now I know this is fairly detailed. We won't have time to go deep into this in the masterclass. You do cover it in the quest, but I wanted you to just give an idea of one of the most common blocks. Let's say the root chakra block, and how it corresponds to childhood and a development process.
So the root chakra is where we begin our journey. And we begin our journey when we're born, right? We come down through the womb where everything has been provided. We get squirted out, and the first thing we have to do is survive. If you don't survive,
Did you
end
say
of
we
the
get
journey.
squirted out?
I shouldn't say that.
No, I think this is Mind Valley. It's cool.
So your first task in life is to survive. You don't survive, end of the journey. And so this is our survival consciousness. And it is really the first year of life. Were your survival needs provided? Did you feel safe? Was your body touched and held? That helps actually wire up the brain to connect with the messages from the body. If you weren't touched and you were just put away in a crib somewhere and not held very often, you don't get that wiring at your most formative stage. And then people live disconnected from their body and disconnected from the earth.
And then you also mentioned, so that's a really, really interesting thing. So now you also mentioned in your work that root chakra problems typically happen from birth to 12 months.
Yes, and it's not like something later on in life can't influence your root chakra, but this is where you get the bulk of your program of how to be in a body, how to interface with gravity and physical things, furniture, holding a spoon, digesting your food, really basic stuff.
And so imbalances can really come from things that we go through in childhood at particular ages of our life.
Particular developmental stages.
Developmental stages. Now, you also mentioned the solar plexus, for example, because I found this interesting. That chakra can be blocked by shame.
Yes.
And that typically happens between 18 months to 4 years.
That's the developmental stage where we are breaking away into our own self. Children, the terrible twos, they want to define themselves. They say, no, I don't want to, and me, and mine, for the first time. And that's an important stage. And of course, if they have too much and they're not, they don't have any boundaries, they have an excessive third chakra. Or if, the parent says, what's the matter with you? Be quiet. You should be ashamed of yourself. Then they shut down the energy. They shut down their fire. And they don't have enough fire in life.
This is exciting. It sounds like this program won't just help you deal with your chakra imbalances, but would make you more conscious of how we work with other people and children.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, people have read my books and said it made me a different parent.
Right.
Because I understood each developmental stage and what my child was trying to accomplish and what they needed at that stage. There's even a term now, developmental trauma. It's not a trauma like a car accident or, getting beaten, but it's a trauma where a child fails to get what they need at crucial developmental stages. And then they're like missing that vitamin their whole life.
Right, that's and the work that you teach can help us heal this.
Yes, that's right.
Fantastic. Now, as we wrap up, I'd love for us to give a treat to our audience, which would be your chakra healing meditation.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
Now, I know some of you are waiting to hear more about the Chakra Quest with Anodea Judith and how to enroll in that. Don't worry, that's going to be coming shortly after this meditation. We'll tell you all about the program, how you can enroll, and how right below this masterclass video, you can unlock a special price as a thank you for investing this time with us to watch this masterclass. For now, what I want you to do is to get ready for the meditation.
So find a comfortable space to sit or lie down, where you can close your eyes and let your attention gently fall away from the outside world. Take a few deep breaths and let out any tension you may be holding, releasing the energy of your daily demands. Enjoy this process of slowly settling into stillness. It doesn't happen all at once, but occurs gradually as you open your breath, as you let your body settle down into your seat, as your mind becomes quiet. As you enter your inner world, Begin to align your chakras by pressing your sitting bones down into the chair or the floor, while simultaneously lifting up your crown, the top of your head, up toward the heavens. Lengthen your spine in 2 directions and focus on the core column of energy that runs up and down the center of you. That is the center of your soul. Now, to clear out that central channel, imagine a small ball of white light about the size of a ping pong ball at the base of your spine. As you inhale, imagine slowly pulling that ball all the way up to the crown of your head. And as you exhale, let that ball of light fall all the way down to your base. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, let it settle back down. Imagine this core as a sparkling column of iridescent light of any color that pleases you. Silently utter the word I, the capital letter I, to better connect to the being that lives in there. You might even say, I am in here. This sacred center where all the chakras are spinning like 7 beautifully colored jewels, aligned along a string from base to crown. Imagine a red jewel at the base of your torso, where you can feel the weight of your body sinking down toward the earth. Feel your contact with the earth, element of the first chakra. Feel it supporting you, holding you, strong and still. Here we deal with the issues of coming into this lifetime, into your body, into your family. Did you feel safe growing up? Was there enough to eat? Did you feel welcomed and cared for by your family? In your mind's eye, imagine these roots representing your first chakra and its state. Are they wide and deep or short and thin? What kind of soil are your roots planted in? Do they have room to grow, or are they crowded with weeds? Allow your imagination to see your roots as they are. Hold that with compassion. And just acknowledge it. Now imagine your roots as you would like them to be, in a kind of soil that supports them. Send your roots down deeper, out wider, make them stronger. See the soil as fertile. Pull out some weeds. And as you do this, imagine what it would feel like inside your body. What it would feel like to be grounded, healthy, prosperous. And soak your cells in that experience. Next, we move up to the orange jewel of the second chakra, located in the abdomen, the low back, the hips, the pelvis. Its wounds come from the emotional environment you grew up in. Were you allowed to express your emotions, or did you have to hold them in? Was your environment calm and loving, or was it volatile and explosive? As you think about these things, imagine your second chakra as a body of water. Notice whether it's full or empty, whether the water is warm or cold. Is it a lake, an ocean, or a puddle? Notice where the source of water comes from. or whether it's dammed up or flowing, sweet or stagnant. Just acknowledge with compassion whatever you see. And then imagine that body of water as you would like it to be. Feel the water flowing freely, burst through that dam. Your whole body feeling centrally alive, moving easily with grace. What would that feel like in your life? How would you move differently? How would your relationships be different? Soak your cells in that experience. And then move your attention up to your third chakra, the lustrous gem of fire located in the solar plexus, governing your personal power, your vitality, and your energy. The healing of this chakra is to fully empower who you are, to be effective in the world, to live your life with sovereignty and personal power. Allow this image of the fire in your third chakra to reflect the way power is for you in your life. What kind of fire burns here in your belly? Is it a clean fire or a smoldering fire? Does it burn too hot, or does it have a hard time getting going? Or is that fire smothered, too many logs, too much food, too much to do, too exhausted? Is that fire appropriately contained, and yet does it have enough fuel to burn brightly? Acknowledge the state of your fire honestly, without judgment. And then imagine that fire as you would like it to be. Give it an appropriate amount of fuel, enough room to burn safely. Imagine your whole body fed by this fire. Walking and talking powerfully in your life, being effective in all you choose to do, easily and effortlessly. Soak your cells in that experience. And once we have our power, we move up into the center, the heart, the jewel of the chest, the jewel of love, related to the element air. Allow this central chamber in the temple of your body to represent the way love moves through your life. Did you feel loved as a child? Does your heart feel open or guarded? Do you have the love you want in your life? See the quality of air inside your heart chakra representing the way love flows through your life at this point in time. How does your breath flow in and out? Is it easy to take a deep breath? Is it easy to let it go? Acknowledge your current state with compassion. And then imagine how it would feel for your heart to be bursting with love. Imagine your body soft and open, breathing deeply. Imagine wings spread wide, lifting you, loving you. Imagine others with you, loved ones, partnerships, friends, intimates, in balanced relationship. Feel this in every cell of your body. And now we move up to the bright blue jewel of sound and communication in the throat chakra. See the undulating waves of vibration coming in and out of your throat, intersecting with the core vibration up and down your core. Are these waves of sound coherent, resonating with harmony, or are they dissonant? Are waves stuck in your throat, unable to get out, or perhaps even to get in? Is it hard to hear that still, small voice inside and allow it to express its truth? See the state of your throat chakra as it reflects your life, and hold it with compassion. Then imagine those vibrations, blue waves, becoming more coherent, a core pulse humming through your whole body, tuning every cell so it sings with the expression of your soul. Feel that vibration in each and every cell, and especially up and down your core. Now we move up to the sixth chakra, the jewel of light, located in the center of the head at brow level. Imagine this is a special place where you look out from, a place from which you see. What kind of light do you see here in your sixth chakra? What colors? How strong is the light? Is there clutter that blocks the light? Just see this chakra as it is in your imagination and acknowledge it. Were you encouraged to use your intuition when you were growing up? Do you have a vision for your life and where it's going? Are you able to visualize what you want and hold it like a target for your goals? Now create the most beautiful light you can imagine. See it shining like a jewel in the center of your head, radiating outward, illuminating everything around you. Imagine the windows of this chamber are clean and clear, and you can see far with clarity. Imagine every cell radiating with this light. See it illuminating the path before you. Now we move up to the top of the head to find the crown chakra, a 1,000-petaled lotus of infinite unfolding. How open is your crown chakra? How connected do you feel to a greater intelligence or wisdom that can guide you? Notice whether these petals are closed or open or somewhere in between. And now imagine these 1,000 petals opening all the way around you in the unfolding of your life and everything going on around you. In front, behind, left and right, they keep opening and opening. But your awareness remains in the exact center of the lotus. And now see all your chakras connected through a line of white light running through the core and spinning each jewel. Imagine what it would be like to be whole, to be living in the full spectrum of possibility, awake and alive, soak your whole body in this experience, and when you are ready, slowly open your eyes, but maintain some contact with the inner world, even as you open your eyes to take in the outer world. Feel your light shining through these 7 windows of the soul.
Thank you, Anodea. That was deep, firstly. I can see how, as we go through that meditation, you help us identify our wounding and then show us what it's like to become whole again.
That is the idea.
Yes, yes. And I'm still woozy coming out of it, but thank you for that beautiful experience, and I'm sure you guys enjoyed that too. So now that you've gotten a beautiful outline of chakra healing, we want to give you a taste of what you'll be going through in this 5-week Mind Valley quest with Anodea Judith. So firstly, for those of you who are new to Mind Valley Quest is one of the world's highest performing learning platforms. And what we mean by that is that traditional online courses, studies show, have only a 10% completion rate, which means that when you buy an online course, there's only a 10% chance you might actually complete it. But Mind Valley Quest is designed in a unique way. We bring in behavioral psychology, we bring in learning design. It comes in a beautifully designed app, which has an Apple Watch component, a TV component, and as a result, completion rates shoot all the way up from 60 to 90%. That means once you start a quest, there is a remarkably high chance that you're actually going to complete it and as a result emerge as a new person. You go through a deep transformation as you go through these programs. Now the secret as to why this happens is simple. Mind Valley Quest isn't going to force you to go through hours and hours of training. What happens is we guide you through a day-to-day sequence. You're investing anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes a day. So in your personal development time, whether it's in the morning before you leave to office or when you come back from work, you open up the app or you open up your computer and you invest that 5 to 20 minutes every day. And it's fun, it's exciting, you get prompted to do it. But the other thing is you're doing it with thousands of students who are going through that journey together. Everybody starts together, everybody goes through the journey together, and we all cross that finishing line together. And our community is so incredibly connected and helpful that they keep you motivated. And so what happens is you're going on an adventure with thousands of other people who are going to be learning with you to align your chakras and to gain mastery over this bioenergetic system that permeates our entire body. So this is how the quest system is organized. Now let me give you an idea of what you learn in this particular quest. Anodea, let's talk about the 7 chakras and the key benefit that you get when you align each chakra.
Well, when you balance and align and open and activate your first chakra, you're more grounded, you're more stable in your life. It's easier to make a living. Your body is more balanced, and so it's healthier.
So that first chakra is about abundance.
Absolutely.
If you put it in one word.
As I find people get more grounded, I find that their finances improve.
Fantastic. And the second chakra?
Second chakra is about having more joy and feeling in your life, of experiencing pleasure. And I don't mean just sexual pleasure, the pleasure of a sunset, the pleasure of a cup of tea with a friend, the pleasure of beauty, a child's smile.
And the third chakra?
The third chakra helps you become more powerful, more effective in your life, more centered in your power, more balanced in your energetic body. How much energy you have. Do you have the energy to meet your needs, or do you have too much, or do you have too little?
So this would be akin to improving your performance at work, improving how you function in your day-to-day life.
Absolutely. And how you feel. Do you feel empowered in your life? Are you in charge of your life, or is someone else in charge of it?
And we go on to the fourth chakra.
The fourth chakra is about love. So this is better relationships, more intimacy in your relationships.
Now, is this true for just love relationships? What about friendship? What about relationship with our children?
Oh, all of those. I mean, it's not just your intimate partner. It is really moving out from yourself, starting with yourself, to your intimate partner, to your family, to your community, and feeling a loving connection of compassion with the whole world.
And number 5?
And number 5 is your communication, to be a clear communicator, to open up your creativity, your self-expression, to not have that hesitancy there when you want to open your mouth and say something.
Now, I'm a writer. Does this help with the energy of writing and communication in that way?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, that's great to know. Number 6.
Number 6 is to open up your vision. how many people really have a clear vision for their life, what they're trying to manifest, to open up your intuition. So when you have to make a decision, you have a place you can go inside, a way to judge whether you go to the right or to the left here. You can access your intuition and count on it.
The sixth chakra, I guess, leads to inspiration and intuition in a way.
Yes.
And the seventh chakra?
And the seventh chakra, really, it's your consciousness, your intelligence, your connection to something greater beyond, your connection to spirituality, whatever kind works for you, and that you're not alone in the world. There is a greater intelligence flowing through you. I call it grace.
I see. So it almost seems that because in our Mind Valley programs, we have programs for abundance, we have programs for better relationships, we have programs for intuition. So how is this different from, say, so let's talk about, for example, the sixth chakra, right, which connects with inspiration and intuition. How is this different from going out and studying intuition?
Well, you could take a whole course on intuition and you'd only get that chakra.
I see.
What we're offering is a comprehensive model that includes all 7 of these levels. So you get them all in one, and you get at the issues that were your blocks that made abundance difficult. Or
and I'm
made
assuming
intuition.
that if we wanted to improve our intuition, for example, or wanted to improve our abundance, we would go deep in the study of intuition or deep in the study of abundance, but we would also work on balancing that chakra to magnify the impact.
Absolutely, and to have a clear intuition, you need to be grounded in your body.
Right.
So all the chakras support each one above.
I see. So this is a good magnifier of anything else that we are studying in personal growth.
It puts it all together in one comprehensive system that you can use the rest of your life.
Fantastic. So if you find these ideas interesting, we invite you to enroll in the program. And one thing I want to let you guys know is that as a thank you for investing the past hour or so with us in this masterclass, you get the best price offered for this program. If you scroll down below, you'll be able to enroll at a special masterclass unlock price. You won't be able to find this on the web, so it's only now as you put in an hour. And it's just a way of saying thank you for spending this hour with us going on this learning journey. Now, the quest starts on a particular date, so you need to enroll before that specific date, because part of the way the quest methodology works is that all of us, all these students, start together. Now, while some of you are scrolling down and reading about the program, let me just share a couple of beautiful words that people have said about Anodea's work. So Richard Miller, PhD, founder of IRS Meditation, said, Anodea offers us both a path and the means for attaining health, healing, well-being, and awakening. Ervin Laszlo, the famous philosopher, systems theorist, and author of 75 books, this man is a legend, said, Anodea Judith addresses the very issue that is now coming into focus as the key to a sustainable and humane future. Nishala Joy Devi, teacher and author of The Healing Path of Yoga, said, I wholeheartedly recommend this essential guide to experiencing your own divine essence. Desiree Rombaugh, international yoga teacher and creator of Wisdom Warrior classes, said, Anodea conveys a deeper meaning and power that any level student or teacher can benefit from. Now, let's talk about the course outline, Anodea. So take us through what are we going to learn week by week in this 5-week program.
Okay, so we spend 3 days on each chakra. The first day is about the psyche. This is your childhood development, what happened to you, where you might have gotten wounded or off balance. We learn all about that. The second day, we go into the healing of that through the body. We have some yoga exercises, we have some bioenergetic exercises, we have simple things that you can do in a quick minute to get rebalanced. So that's all focused on the body. And then the third day is taking that into the spirit realm and also out into the world. It may involve some kind of activism. It may involve looking at the more spiritual aspect of that chakra and how it plays out in the bigger picture. So we do that 3 days, first chakra, then the next 3 days is the second chakra, same psyche, body, and spirit. Then there's a day of integration. That's your day off. That won't take you 20 minutes.
Sunday is our integration day?
Sunday is your integration day.
Fantastic.
That's a very short video just to say, how are you doing? Connect with your tribe, say what exercises you did, a little catch-up day.
Right, right. And people, you're connected to the tribe the entire program. In fact, as you start the program, we start welcoming everyone onto the Facebook group, and everybody gets to connect and share their story and why they are here. And it's really beautiful to see. Now, you don't have to do that, but we found that the vast majority of our students like being able to see other students. And to help you go through the best experience, we actually put tribe facilitators who work at our office in Mind Valley, in Europe and Asia. They are directly in the tribe with you, guiding you along, helping answer your questions, and ensuring that everyone has a good time.
And I come on live now and then in the tribe too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. So every week we focus on 2 chakras.
That's right, with a day of integration.
Right.
Until we've gone through all 7.
And you want to set aside 5 to 20 minutes a day, every day for 5 weeks.
And then when we get to the top, we have a couple days to integrate all 7 chakras, to take that from the personal out into the larger world, and from that perspective, get a vision. And then we do the manifesting current. 1 day for each chakra, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bringing that higher consciousness that you work so hard to get up to down to manifest what you want to bring into reality.
So let's actually break this down. Week 1, we work on chakra 1 and 2. Week 2, we work on chakra 3 and 4. Week 3, we work on chakra 5 and 6. Yeah. And week 4, we work on chakra 7. And then we go into a concept that you call the global heart. What happens during the global heart training on week 4?
Well, you get a perspective of how the chakras that you've been learning about play out in the larger world. How in human history we've gone through these different stages and how we're opening to the heart. And it lets you have a focus to hold this all in a larger context.
Fantastic.
And from that context, then we begin our downward journey.
And then that's in week 5 when we begin our downward journey, and you teach us how to manifest with the chakras in alignment. That sounds incredible. Now, being the activist that you are, you have a special name for the Facebook community that we're going to be starting with this group. Tell us about that.
I call it the Rainbow Warriors, reflecting that rainbow bridge and the colors that are so often associated with the chakras. But the reason I picked that is there is a Native American prophecy, and I've heard it's in Australia too. I was teaching in Australia and said, oh, we have that same prophecy, that at a time when the world is threatened, when people are living in disharmony, there will arise a tribe of warriors who will recognize each other and have a new way. And that tribe will cut across race and gender and socioeconomic status and nationality, and they will come together to start modeling a new way of living.
And you call those tribe the Rainbow Warriors.
The Rainbow Warriors.
That's fantastic. So when you join this program, that's the nickname for this tribe of students. Several thousand students will be joining in each batch as we open up this program. So welcome to the Rainbow Warriors group. Now I want you to know that some of you may be wondering, should I enroll? Is this for me? Don't worry, you can enroll in any Mind Valley quest, and you can try out the program for 10 days. So that's basically 3 chakras. You can try it out for 10 days, and if you feel this isn't for you, simply go to mindvalley.com/refund, and you can actually issue yourself a refund. Just fill in the form there and boom, you get your money back. So this way it's perfectly safe. You don't even have to make up your mind right now. Just go ahead, enroll in the program, try it out for 10 days, set a timer if you want to, and go to mindvalley.com/refund before day 10 and simply give yourself a refund. Or use that to enroll in another Mind Valley program if you wish. We want to make it perfectly safe for you guys to try out our programs and see if they are a fit. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Scroll down below for all the information on how you can enroll in the Chakra Healing Quest with Anodea Judith and Mind Valley. Now, for those of you who are interested in learning a little bit more, we want to do a little segment called Frequently Asked Questions. And what we're going to do here is answer some of the most common questions that we get about this program from students. So, Anodea, are you ready?
I'm ready. Fire away.
The first question is, can we really heal all life traumas in a short period of time? I'm guessing it would take years. How can this quest do it that fast?
Well, it depends on how deep your trauma is, but you can't build a house in a day either.
Right.
But you have to learn the tools or you'll never build anything. So this will give you the tools that you can use for the rest of your life. Those deeper issues, you can do them again and again, these exercises. And over time, you have a way to address your imbalances.
Fantastic. And now the second question is, this is a funny one. Will this quest help me open my Kundalini?
Well, in my teaching, I'm not focused on Kundalini itself as much as opening the way that should Kundalini arise, it will be a gentle journey. Because for some people, when Kundalini wakes up, it's a really rough ride. And I think that if we open and balance the chakras, we are paving the way for Kundalini.
I see. Okay, question number 3. There was a mention of 2 energy currents in this program, liberation and manifestation. Does that mean that I will be able to manifest what I desire after taking this quest?
Well, once again, you will have the tools and you will have a practical step-by-step process for manifesting what you desire.
So it amplifies your ability.
That's right.
Right. Now, can this program be used as a replacement for therapy?
Well, what people tell me is they use it as an adjunct for therapy. And people have had life-changing experiences in my workshops. I don't deny that. But you can take this to your therapist and say, I discovered I have this 3rd chakra issue and this is where it came from and now I know what to do. And can you help me explore it deeper?
Fantastic. And the final question is, what if I don't have time for this?
Well, you know, they say people spend more time planning their summer vacation than they do the rest of their life. So this is time spent that will bring a better journey for the whole rest of your life. It's time invested that will give you a great return.
Very true, and it's only 20 minutes a day. So if you feel that you may not have enough time for this, just consider this for a moment. Let's say you have a yoga practice or you have a meditation practice, and that's probably 20 minutes at least a day. Try replacing that for 35 days with this program. You see, every practice that we do will often hit a certain ceiling where the results are no longer as fast as they were at the early stage. So you want to actively switch up your practices. So for example, if you are already meditating 20 minutes a day and you absolutely know that there's no additional time you can contribute to a spiritual practice, take your meditation, put it aside for 35 days and try this program in that time. And what you'll typically find is that there will be a boost that you will experience. And then after this, you can choose to go back to your meditation. But when you switch up spiritual practices, you typically increase the benefits that you get. So time is never really an issue here.
So what happens for people if they miss a day?
I love that you're asking me a question now. So this is really cool about the Mind Body Quest methodology. If you miss a day, the app will remind you. And you can go back and you can just take that day. So you see, this is why we have weekends in our life. Let's say you go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you miss Thursday. You can do Thursday's work on Friday. And then on that Saturday, because you have a bit of a weekend, you have some free time, you can do Friday and Saturday on that Saturday and boom, you're caught up. So it's never really too hard because the lessons each day are such a low time commitment.
And they're fun once you engage in it.
Right. So with that, we end this masterclass on chakra healing. Thank you so much for joining us, folks. And scroll down below to enroll in the Chakra Healing Quest with Anodea Judith. And Anodea, thank you so much for being our guest here on Mind Valley.
Thank you, Vishen. A delight. So Vishen, now I want to show you one of the exercises we're going to do in the course, a grounding exercise to open up the channels in the legs so you can be more grounded. Are you willing to try?
I would love that. So I want you guys to pay attention. Those of you who are thinking about enrolling in the Chakra Healing Quest by Mind Valley, this is not just going to be about meditation. You're going to learn actual exercises that involve movement, and you're going to watch me awkwardly try to follow Anodea as she demonstrates this as we are filming this masterclass.
You can even try it yourself while we're doing it and feel the effects.
So let's get started.
Okay, so grounding. Your 2 legs are like the 2 prongs of a plug that plug into the earth. So get a nice wide stance with your heels out farther than your toes. So you're a little bit pigeon-toed.
Okay.
And bend your knees softly out over your toes and press down and out as if you were trying to stretch this carpet.
Am I doing this correct? Oh, I see what you mean. As if
Not
I was
quite yet. Just without even moving. Just knees a
Okay.
little bit bent and press down and out so that you feel your feet really grabbing on. Even if I push you, you're going to be more grounded. Feel that?
Got it. I feel that.
Okay, so that's the grounding stance. Now we charge it up. As you inhale, bend your knees a little deeper. And as you exhale, press down and out through your legs and come up very slowly. It's very important to have your feet pressing into the floor. Exhale as you come up. Push through your legs. And this begins to energize the legs. A little slower. Inhale and bend. Exhale, push those feet out as you come up. And you may feel a little bit of trembling starting to happen in your legs. That's not muscle fatigue, it's actually energy coming through. Your knees are going way out, so I'm gonna keep them in a little bit. And really press down and out into your feet. There you go. Yeah, you know, you're coming up too quickly. You want to create resistance by pressing as if you're trying to part the floorboards. Pushing through your leg. Now do you see the difference?
Yes.
And when we do it, we don't want to lock the knee. We want to keep the knee a little bit bent, because when we lock the knee, the charge shuts off.
So this is for activating the energy in the legs.
Yes.
Fantastic.
And as you practice this more and more, it becomes more natural to stand and be grounded.
Fantastic. So you go deep in these exercises in the quest. Show me another one.
Okay, so here's one for third chakra. I call it stoking the fire.
Okay.
So we reach out on an exhale, and we reach in on an inhale, bring it right to your belly. You can even touch here. So it's an exhale as you reach out. And touch your third chakra as you come in.
So thank you. So you guys got an idea of some of the techniques that you will learn. And these techniques look simple, right? But for example, just the breathing one, I know that Jamie Wheel of the Flow Genome Project in Silicon Valley has concluded that if we could create open source religion, one of the first things we would bring to give people an ecstatic experience is breath.
Yes.
And I can see how you're bringing breath into this program. So there's a lot of science backing up some of these exercises, as strange as they may look.
I came to Anodea because I knew that there was something blocked in my chakras. I could feel that there's something that I wasn't dealing with. And after taking her courses, not only did I feel that clear, but I felt like I had a better understanding of where I was moving in my life. And since then, I've continued to seek her out, take her courses, be part of her certification. I can't speak highly enough of her and the work and the research that she's done. She's absolutely brilliant. She's a wonderful person. And if you take her course, she'll absolutely help you too.
Hi, I'm Dave Guhigan. I showed up at Anodea's workshops by accident. It transformed my life. It healed me deeply inside and re-established a connection not only to myself, but to the people around me and the world in general. It's awesome, it's fun, it's something that goes deeply inside your soul. Give it a shot, it'll be awesome.